Joining us today on the Talk Exposure podcast, we are joined by Malcolm Tatum, who is a former GMAC Player of the Year and a first-team All-GMAC, surpassing the 1,000-point mark in his basketball career while attending Alderson Broaddus University. You can catch this episode on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and wherever you find your podcasts. Do not miss out on this one because Malcolm Tatum shared a lot of information with us, and this is not one that you guys want to miss out on. Welcome to another edition of Talk Your Exposure, and today's a very special one because the guest that I have on is someone that I've known for about 6-7 years already, and damn, I cannot wait to get into his story and to talk about his basketball career. But before we introduce our guest, we got a new co-host. We got somebody big, man, somebody that we've been trying to do this with for quite some time now. I want to introduce you guys, Chris Campbell, to the show. What's up, my man?
Yo, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being here. Talk Exposure. Let's see what happens. Let's get popping. I love it.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes. Hey, we've been trying to do this for quite some time now. So, it's been about some time that you get on the show and that you're here now. So I'm happy to have you on, man.
Hey, you know what? I finally got some time. I've been watching this from the sideline saying, "Ooh, this is looking pretty good." So it's a pleasure to be a part of this. We talk all the time. So this is about time we got it together. You got a chance to get to do this together. So I'm happy. Let's get this going. And I like your guest. You talk so highly about this guy. So I want to hear more about him. So let's get into this.
Hey, you're not lying about that. As the young bucks say these days, no cap. Our guest definitely is someone that played former pro basketball player, former Division II NCAA basketball player. He's a GMAC Player of the Year or former GMAC Player of the Year. And now he decided to say, you know what? I'm going to hang all that up and I'm going to give it back to coaching. We got Malcolm Tatum in the building. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for having me on here.
Hey, man, thanks for giving us some time. People don't understand the type of gem you really are, bro. So honestly, we're excited to get into this story, get into your story and talk about your basketball career. But just like I said, you are a gem. And I want to ask you, though, they say that basketball is a lot like dancing, but I've been fortunate to watch you play, and I must admit, you definitely like to dance on the court. Can you give us your best crossover?
Shit. My go-to definitely between the legs cross. I gotta go there, left and right for sure.
So a little Penny Hardaway,
Yeah.
Give us your best crossover story where you broke somebody's ankle or had the nicest move that you can recall.
Man. The best one probably when I was in prep. I was down in Florida and we was playing Impact Academy. And I came down kind of on a fast break, kind of slowed up. He eased up real quick, went quick between, and hit him with the left, right. He's gone. Straight pulled up and he was gone. He was out of there.
You froze him and dead. So damn, okay.
Yeah, he was out of there.
Make him dance on the shoes for real, bro. This guy is crazy. But Chris, it's crazy though, because not only did he have handles, this guy could fly too. Malcolm, talk to us about your best body that you caught.
Best body I caught, man. That's kind of the best body I caught is kind of it's kind of hard at the same time because that's the same play I got injured on. I went up, got the steal, and the 6'7" dude was trailing me. So it's me thinking I'm either gonna dunk it or he gonna blast my shit. So I had to go up. I went up with one hand, punched it on him, but I came down wrong.
Shoot.
But it's kind of bittersweet because that was the best body I caught, but I also got hurt doing it.
So I see the smile when you're talking about it, but we're gonna get into that in a little bit, though. Definitely gonna talk about your injury and when you were playing at AB as well. But I want to ask you though, since we're on the topic of honesty, have you ever been crossed or dunked on before?
I got crossed one time, a couple of times. I ain't gonna say a couple of times. One time, but a couple of times, definitely. Mm-hmm. That's part of basketball, especially when you're a defender and you always got to guard the best player. It's gonna happen. But I never got dunked on, but I almost did, and it was bad. He just luckily missed it. Like I jumped late. It was me and him on a fast break. He got off the ground before me. He ended up putting his elbow on my shoulder. Shit, just went up. But he missed it, so it was a good thing. It would have been bad. Yeah, it would have been bad.
Was that during the social media era? Was that during the social media era, or was that pre-social media?
Nah, that was pre-social media. That was probably when Facebook was the only thing going at the time. So yeah, so I was lucky.
I'm not gonna lie to you. One thing that I enjoy about not playing in the social media area is that a lot of things that happened have not been documented. So I got away with a lot of things.
yeah, for sure. You get away with a lot. You can hide it. Nobody really gonna know unless they was in that gym.
That never happened.
Never happened to you? Never had one?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I got close. I got close. I got close bad, but you know what? I got the most dirtiest dunk. I want to go dunk on somebody, and then man, I got pinned trying to dunk on somebody. That was ugly. I'm not gonna lie, that was ugly.
Hey Malcolm, I want to play a little game with you. You know, I know you do like music and everything, so I want to bring you back a little bit. We're gonna play a game called Fill in the Blanks. Basically, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna read you some lyrics, and from there you gotta fill in the blanks with the lyrics. If you get the artist right, or at least the song right, you'll get a half a point. If you get the full song and the wow, I can't even speak today. If you get the song, artist, and the name of the song correct, you'll get a full point for that one. Don't worry about it. We had it with Andrew Nicholson as well. I'm sure you know what Andrew Nicholson is, and he went 2 for 4 as well. So don't worry about it. No big deal. I'm gonna start off a little easy for you right now. You know, I'm just very simple. I've been losing friends and finding peace. I'll say it one more time. I've been losing friends and finding peace. What's the next part that comes after that?
Losing friends and finding peace. Man, I don't know.
I'll
sound like Rod Wave or something like that, man. I don't know.
I'll give you the artist. It's Drake.
Oh, it's Drake. I should have guessed that with y'all being from Canada. I really don't know. I'm losing friends, finding peace. I don't know.
I've been losing friends and finding peace, but honestly, this sounds like a fair trade to me. Fair trade by Drake.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know that. I wouldn't guess that.
You are gonna guess that?
I wouldn't have guessed that. Nah, I'm not. I'm pretty bad. I'm pretty bad with this stuff.
Well,
what else we got?
I'm gonna change it up a little bit. You know, obviously go from from pop and go a little bit R&B and a little bit of hip hop as well. It's never the right time to say goodbye.
Never the right time to say goodbye. Shit. That's an R&B song. So
it's R&B song.
Never the right time to say goodbye. I mean, you about to have me singing on this joint. Yeah, never the right time to say goodbye. Yeah, I know. That's Chris Brown. That's Chris Brown.
It's Chris Brown.
I had to sing it. I had to sing it again. You know what I'm saying?
The lyrics come afterwards. But I gotta make the first move, because if I don't, you're gonna start hating me.
Yeah, I wouldn't guess that, but I know that's Chris Brown for sure.
This is the last one I'm on to my co-host, but you have to get this one, man. We're gonna go back to a little bit of rap right now. You know, I even increased the lyrics for you a little bit. Some say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Damn, that's in a lot of songs, bro. I know it's Tupac.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would come after that if it was Tupac?
Blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Damn. I'm going blank right now, bro. I'm going blank.
I'm gonna give you some more seconds, man. Come on, I know you got it in you, bro.
Nah, bro, I'm blanking.
I said the darker the flesh, the deeper the roots.
Deeper the roots. Yeah, okay. Yeah. See, I'm blanking, bro. I had a long practice this morning, bro. I'm blanking right now.
It's all good, man. It's all good. But you know, you at one for 3. But hey, man, you know, since you're my guy, I know you should have better percentage than that. So I'm gonna give you 2 for 3 because you're my guy. But Chris, on to you, man.
Give me my half a point. Y'all got Tupac. I guess that. Let me get half a point for that. Let me get a half.
I gave you a full 2. I gave you a full point.
The Chris Brown, John. I got the Chris Brown too, though.
But you didn't get the Drake one.
Yeah, I ain't get the Drake.
Oh yeah, you know what? You did get the Chris Brown. All right, cool. So I'll give
me my points. Yeah, I need all of them.
He wants his stats, man. He wants his stats.
I need all of them.
My bad. Hey, Chris, he shot the best in the conference, man. We're gonna get into a little bit on the free throw line. So I know he wants every single percentage of that. So
I need all that.
Put that in there.
It all add up.
You already know.
Well, the way I look at it, you know, that's a good way of looking at this. So being, you know, went through a couple of lyrics and stuff for that. Growing up, what kind of music did you enjoy?
Man, I pretty much got an old soul, man. Growing up in my house with my mom and them, so I listen to a lot of old school R&B. Growing up, more so the 90s R&B, early 2000s, but a lot of the old school artists. My mom liked Kim, Luther Vandross, old groups like the Isley Brothers. Like I listen to a lot of old school stuff. But I'm more of a a vibe type of dude. I listen more R&B than rap, though, to be honest.
I like that. Well, then that give us an artist, group, producer that you feel deserve more credit than they really got.
More credit. Oh man. Well, like right now, listening to who I listen to the most. A lot of those, the vibe music, like I said, like I listen to a lot of Lil Durk, Broadway. A guy from my area, I really listen to Brent Faiyaz.
Okay.
I was really always a Lil Baby fan. When he was doing that Lil Baby gunning thing, I was always Lil Baby for sure.
Okay.
Growing up, it was rap. If it was rap, it was always Lil Wayne. That's who I grew up on for sure. Lil Wayne, I always listened. Every mixtape he had, it was always him.
I like that. Okay. So give us your top 5 artists on your before game playlist. Like you're about to get started. Like what are your top 5?
Ooh, man, see that's a tough one. Depends because I'm too amped up. I listen to that R&B quick. I throw on some 90s R&B and calm down a little bit. But before the game, man, I'm probably listening to some Key Glock, Young Dolph, some with some bass to it. The old Lil Durk, I would bump that. Chief, when I was in college, Chief Keef, he was coming some. Hey,
a lot of people like that
in there. And then I would definitely throw Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was always on the playlist in the shuffle. And but when I was a big A Boogie fan. I was, but he fell off. When I was overseas, A Boogie, G Herbo, it would be a good mix for sure.
I can imagine a mix. But I can understand though, like the whole depending on the game, depending on you got to come with. I understand that a lot. But I like talking about where we growing up. So growing up in Maryland, what was the upbringing like?
Growing up in Maryland, see, originally, a lot of my family are from Baltimore, but I actually grew up in a suburb called Columbia. It's like right outside of Baltimore City. So it was real nice, but it's a real diverse area. It's a lot of different races: white, black, Indian, Chinese, whatever. So it was unique in a way because you got to learn how to handle yourself around different people. That's the best way I can put it. When you're trying to adjust to your environment and who you're around, that kind of came real natural for me. So that's growing up where I grew up. That was something I really gained from that. And then when I go in the city, like that, I can naturally you fit in.
You adjust
that's a natural environment. But coming up in an area where it's real diverse, you had to learn a lot of things. But when I came up, my era was probably like really the last era that I grew up playing outside. Like we would grow up with outside, go to the park. Around here, there's a lot of parks, a lot of playgrounds. Like I said, it was a suburb, so it was courts on every corner, there's playgrounds everywhere. You can walk to a trail. A trail will take you all through the area of Columbia. And you could take a trail, next you had a court across town and the guys is hooping. So we out there hooping. Then we had a gym called Supreme Sports Club. Man, that's where everybody was at. Like where I was at, man, it was hooping. Like when I was coming up, it was hooping. A lot of guys went to Division I, and we would all be at that Supreme Sports Club. We'd be there. We wake up, probably get there around 10. We hoop from 10 to 1. Then they doing something else like Zumba or yoga. And we go eat lunch and come back and be there the rest of the night. The gym open 24 hours. So we'd be there all night. And just give you some guys that grew up, like some high major guys that was around in the area at the time was like Henry Sims, he went to Georgetown, Eric Agnew, Notre Dame, Chase Adams, who ended up at Pitt, Louis Birdsong, George Mason. It was a wide variety of guys, Justin McCoy. Then you had the city guys. You had guys in the city like Will Barton, Antonio Barton, Sean Mosley, my cousin Stan Kidd, Roscoe Smith. So my era was big in Maryland at the time of basketball. Josh Selby. So the competition was crazy. Yeah, so everywhere you go, it was good bump. Like the competition was definitely top around that time.
You actually forgot somebody in the Maryland area, man. That my guy Devon Usher, that guy tough.
Oh yeah, that's the same area. That's the same. He's the same class. But that class was crazy. I can figure the name quick. It's that his AAU team that year was Baltimore Elite.
Stupid.
I mean, they had like 5 guys who was in the top 10 of ESPN on that class. On that team. It was different. But Devon, his was tough.
I like that. But you know what? You named a lot of names. You named a lot of people in Maryland. Let's talk about some also. Maryland produced a lot of great players. So I'm thinking other great players that came out of Maryland. You got Kevin Durant, Steve Francis, Michael Beasley, Dixon. You got Victor Oladipo. Like that's just to name a few, right? What is support like in the community for guys that come out from MD? Like, what's the support? What's the love like?
Man, it's love. It's all love, especially when you got that talent, potential, and you have the personality where you're not an asshole. You know what I'm saying? It's love. But a lot of guys you name is crazy. They on the DC side. That's the PG County and DC side. A lot of the guys that I grew up playing with was more so in the Baltimore side. But those games would be thick. When we, those Baltimore teams, Team Mellow, Baltimore Elite, go play like at the time it was DC Assault, Team Tatum would start coming up. Those games would be huge. Those games would be lit. And you got the Baltimore Catholic League and the DC Catholic League. And those, the Baltimore Catholic League, DC Catholic League, top in the country, hands down. Talent in the area. So that is just basketball in this area alone. It's nice. You gotta love it.
I love
that. They embrace it. They embrace it, man. And when you got a top talent in the area, everybody's coming out. Everybody's coming out to see who's up next. They got to see it for themselves. That's one thing about the area. They got to see it for themselves. They not believing that hype. They got to come. And if you don't come correct, they going to let you know you phony, you whack, you suck. You know what I mean? You got to bring it. That area, that's why when people always say, like, a lot of guys come from my area, it's tough when they talk a lot of shit. Man, that's the environment we come from. You got to bring it. If not, you're going to fold. And you got it. It's really is a different environment.
You're gonna talk about it. You don't want that in the streets.
Nah, you don't want that going around. Like, man, I went to go see Malcolm play the other day. You're really terrible. I don't want that hype. He got a lot of hype. It's all the internet hype. Nah, he came down to the trenches and ain't do nothing. He ain't get one bucket. They gonna let you know.
Wasting my time. All this hype.
Let you know. Just like in the pro-ams out here. You come, you got a big name. You on social media. You gotta come correct. If not, they're gonna let you have it. They're gonna let you know that you trash. And then if you got the name, people gonna try to go at you because there's people here that can hoop, and then there's people here that feel like they didn't get the same fair chance or shot that other people got. So they gonna bring it to you. They gonna be like, man, I belong where you was at. So you gotta bring it. The competition here is where it's at.
For sure.
Well, I like that. So, what was it like when you got signed?
Signed what, college?
Yeah, you signed with Alderson, D2, NC2 AA school. Who else was in the running for you at that time?
Man, that recruiting process, man, was tough. It was long. To be honest, my first year at AP, I wasn't even on a full scholarship. I was one of those guys that banked on a Division I, that was waiting on it. I went through a lot, though, my recruiting process. My first offer coming out was Idaho State. Coach changed, right? Right at the end of the year, at the end of the season, coach changed. So that scholarship is gone. Next one, Southern Utah. Boom, same thing, coach changed. Then there was just a lot of interest at the time, Bloomington, UNC Greensboro, Northeastern Delaware, and a couple schools down in Florida. So at the time, I was just taking the visits, banking on the Division Ones, and then UNC Greensboro actually had an opportunity too, but my father ruined that. Man, I had a real hard-nosed father. I went down there, he showed his ass, and they weren't really rocking. I mean, because that's true, man. The coaches, they look at that too. They look at your family and all that stuff, And if they feel like if it's a distraction or it's going to hurt the program or the kid itself, they don't want no parts of that. Especially at that level when they already offering 3 or 4 guys at your position. So, that time was tough, So I had a couple Division I offers, but it didn't go my way. And then at the time, I was going to settle with Delaware. I was actually going to go to Delaware.
Same with Devon. So wait, hold on. So pause. So you would have played with Devon?
The year I was coming in, I think the next year Hitch was coming in.
Okay.
I didn't go that same year. It was the next year. But they ended up. I wasn't eligible because of the grading scale. I didn't have a good test score. Man. I was bad at taking tests. Man. So I wasn't eligible Division I. I was eligible Division II. So it was a couple things. They were trying to, do some things where I could set out or whatever. But they ended up signing another point guard from North Carolina, I think. So that, that all went out the window. And then the only Division II visit I took was AB, and I hated it. I hated it. It was in the middle of nowhere. 800 students. I'm like, man, that's not even college. So I'm down there, I'm playing and all that. I'm not even really into the game. I'm just like, man, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm passing the ball. Guys are going at it. But I could see, but that was one thing that shocked me, that Division II level. When I went there and I played, I was like, shit, like, these dudes can hoop. It's not much of a drop-off, especially, you know, some of the schools I was looking at, Idaho State, Southern Utah, wasn't high talent. You know what I mean? It was, you know, good size and all that, but it wasn't, the talent wasn't crazy. So I went there and I didn't bank on it. So the whole Delaware thing was going on. I was banking on getting in and going there, but it didn't happen. So 2 weeks, I had to report to school. It was either, I was going to go to junior college, actually, down in Mississippi, East Mississippi. And it was another thing with Division I, Louisiana Monroe. They was, you know, you sign here, East Mississippi, we're going to sign you as soon as you get here or in the first signing period. And I didn't like the sound of that anyway. It was like, I'm going to JUCO. Why would I just, I might as well wait my option. But my mother at the time, my mother was an educator. So she was like, she didn't know nothing about basketball. I come from a family that don't really know much about basketball. So all the decisions was on me. And she was just like, well, JUCO, you're a good student. You want to go, you know. So she was like, go to AB for a year. You like it, stay. If you don't like it, you leave. So I went. And at the time, AB already signed everybody. They didn't have no more scholarships. So they found some money for me. And I paid a little bit my first year. And then when I went in, yeah, I paid my little bit my first year. I went in, and after the first 2 weeks, they pretty much told me I was starting as a freshman. They, you know, they're going to run it through me or whatever. But I wanted to leave still. After the first 2 weeks there, I hated the school. I didn't want to be there. I was like, man, I'm out. I'm called my prep coach, like, man, call it JUCO. Like, I'm coming. But I ended up liking it. I stayed. And after I went there, you know, I kind of fell off the map. A lot of people didn't know I was there at the Division II because, you know, I had the Division I interest. So it didn't really pop up to people again until the season started. And, you know, I started doing pretty well.
Well, sometimes you need to fall off a little bit, though, to be able to come back on again. And that's exactly what you did, to be honest with you. And we're gonna dive into your accolades in a second. But, you know, obviously my first year at AB as well, that was a complete culture shock for me because I came from JUCO. You know, obviously when you're running and everything, you come from Florida, you know what I'm saying? Then you go to little town called Olean, New York, where it's close to Allegheny by Bonaventure. So my JUCO career was middle of nowhere. So I'm already used to kind of being middle of nowhere. I was more so, for me, it was more so the change was the way the offense was played, the way the game was played, how much more slow it was compared to the JUCO game, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even training camp for me was a little tougher than usual. 2020s, you know, the damn football field sprints. I hated that shit. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. All of that, you know, even sometimes we did 3 days. I remember my first year we did 3 days. We had morning workout on the field. Then we did weight room with Coach Ron. Then after that we had practice with either you or Tobias or whoever was running the practice at that time. I hated that shit. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And on top of that, we also did the study hall too. So people don't understand the type of grind that you got to go into as a college university athlete. Were you prepared for that type of training and that type of mental? Were you prepared for everything to come, you know, during your time there?
I wouldn't say I was prepared, but at the same time, I kind of was, just because, like I said, where I grew up at, first of all, is big on education. Where I grew up at, diverse schools, the school system is great. So I was prepared school-wise for sure, like some study hall and school was nothing. That was easy. Classes was easy. Then basketball-wise, it was different. It was adjustment because it was way more challenging. But like I said, I grew up just hooping all day. I was used to being outside and playing and doing different things and not chilling. So once I got the hang of it, of what we were doing, it was natural. You know, I was a natural guy that just worked hard.
You and I both, man. You remember how hard I used to work? Fucking put up 800 shots. 800, 900 shots a day, you know, my shit was drenched in sweat.
In the gym, bro. He was always in the gym.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. But, you know, obviously, as you mentioned, you know, you play Division II basketball. Talk to us about the importance of getting your grades correct to be able to go play Division I, and also the importance of getting a free education. Because we have a lot of kids in our program, both Chris and myself. We coach 2 different programs. I coach RWI, he coaches motion. Kids don't understand how important it is to just get free education, period, and how hard it is to get free education at all. But they also don't understand the preparation and getting the right courses to be able to, like you said earlier, to get a Division I scholarship, you know, to be able to get in the NCAA, period. So can you talk to us about all that preparation that's needed to be able to get a Division I scholarship and the importance of getting a free education, period?
Man, it's a lot. It's a lot. And a lot of people don't realize how much it really is. It starts your 9th grade year. You really got to start preparing there, which I said I kind of got to cheat because my school system was perfect. But outside looking in now that, I was coaching in college and recruiting, a lot of kids don't even have the 16 core credits that they need. They're not taking the right classes. And now it's a little different now. I mean, COVID was a little different, so they made some adjustments with the grading scale and the 2.3 GPA. Used to be 2.5. Mm-hmm. So all that's a little different now, and it's making it a little bit more easier for the kids to get in school. But it's very important. It starts your freshman year, because now your freshman and sophomore year, you can have terrible grades, and you're starting to get recruited. Now you're trying to get them up, and it's hard to get those A's and B's now to make that 1.6 that you had to get to a 2.0. So the preparation starts early. A lot of them don't realize it, and then it's too late, and they have to take a different route. But just from the outside looking in and recruiting, it is very important, because now I was that guy. Nowadays it's what D1 or bust. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. A lot of guys don't realize the competition at the D2 level is pretty much guard play. I'm gonna say the guard play is the same. The only thing about the Division I level is they got 6'8" dudes on the wing that's league bound. You don't see that too much in Division II. Division II, the guard play is even. The guard talent and all is even. But Division I, you got those 7-foot centers, you got those 6'8" wings, 6'6" guards. That's the only difference, the size and the ability. But that play is different. So it is very hard to get a free education. You got to think about it. A lot of these schools only get 10 full scholarships, and they're recruiting all over. It's how many kids want to play college basketball nowadays? It's a tough thing to do. So you cannot take it for granted. We have guys all the time that when I was at Slippery Rock and we was recruiting, they waiting on the Division I offer, waiting. Boom, we waited on them. We wanted them so bad that we waited, but we couldn't wait no more. We had to go get our second option and go do what we think is best fit. So by the end of the year, they calling like, "Hey, coach, your scholarship's still there?" Nah, it's gone. And now they left with nothing. They got to go JUCO or prep. So it is very important that you do things early and really, accept it for what it is. And now with the transfers and stuff, man, we got kids that's transferring to high major Division I's from Division II. So getting to school, man, going to school is important. Just get in. If you do what you got to do when you're in school, you'll make where you want to go. You can reach your goals. But get into school first. That is not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to get a scholarship. If you get it, do not take it for granted.
Hey, man, I completely agree, especially with the transfer portal this year. COVID messed everything up, and you don't even have to sit out a year. Like what? You could go from Division II, Division I. You go Division I, D2. You can go D3, Division I. You could come back. Like, apparently, you can declare for the NBA, and if you don't get picked up, if you don't decide to put your name in by a certain time, you can come back to go to NCAA. So you talk about only 10 full scholarships, but 9 of them are already given to returners. So you really only have one more left. Right. You know what I mean? So especially on a developing team, Division II is in particular, or even a low Division I or a mediocre Division I as well, only the high Division I's usually get more than 10 or maybe more to offer, because those guys typically are gone to the NBA after their first year, one and done, especially Kentucky. But you have a program like Alderson Broaddus, you have a program like Slippery Rock, you have a Division II program, or even a low Division I program. You're typically going to keep those freshmen all 4 years. So if you have a freshman team, period, you have no scholarships to give. So you know what I mean? So these kids don't understand. So what's going to separate you from other people? If you're going in with the 2-3 only, coach is going to look at you and say, you might not be eligible for next season or next semester. I don't know if I really want to make that, take that trust with that. I don't know if I want to take that liability. So there's a lot of things that go into that in general. So I'm glad you touched up on that, and thank you for your feedback with that one. But, for you, obviously from your freshman year till your senior year, you obviously talked about it earlier. You started your freshman year, you started your senior year, you started your all the way through. You as a freshman, what was it like knowing the coach had that much interest or not, that much trust in you? Because being a point guard, you always need to make sure that your coach has trust in you. So what was it like as a freshman, giving the keys and saying, "You're going to drive us home"?
Man, it felt great, but it was a lot of responsibility. But at the same time, I was the only freshman on the court with 14. I started with 14.
God damn.
So it was a huge adjustment, especially me thinking I'm better than I was. I'm Division I. I don't know why I'm here. At the same time, I only averaged 6 points my freshman year. So, adjusting to the game speed, it was different. Like I said, that Division II was the same. Like the game speed, it was crazy to adjust to that. And trying to find your niche on that court. Like you said, you go to Division II, the game is so fast. At least in our conference, that West Virginia conference, it was fast. We got up and down. We're trying to score 80, 90 points. We're getting up, and so the guards are skilled. They're shooting threes and all that. So it was days where I got torched. You know what I mean? It was a learning experience. So it was a good and a bad thing. He threw me in the fire, and it was like learn. You know what I mean? But that was a good thing about my coach. At AD Coach Zimmerman, he's the best coach I ever had. The X's and O's guys, skill development. He really knew what he was doing. So I got a lot out of being there. And so my jump from my freshman to sophomore year was huge. I went from averaging 6 points to 15 points. So it was big. I learned a lot. And just me getting thrown in the fire as a freshman, you had no choice but to learn and adjust on your own, which helped me. That helped my development, game by game. By mid-season, it clicked. Mid-season, then I was ready. I could play like myself. So it felt great that he trusted me, especially with, they had a Division I guy came in, my guy Stu. Stu, he's from the same area. So he came in, he was a protected starter. So it was great that I, went in there and beat him out. No hard feelings, I was my man and all that. But, when you step on the court, it's competition. You gotta do what you gotta do. So it was great. It was great that he, they seen it early and they put their trust in me early.
Like you mentioned, though, obviously you increased and you got better from your freshman year to your sophomore year. Your sophomore year, you earned GMAC first team honors, and then as a junior, you were named GMAC Player of the Year and first team All GMAC. You also passed the 1,000 point club. By winning these awards, have they helped you with anything past playing? And do these awards mean anything to you?
The awards is great. The awards is great and all that. It definitely means a lot to me, just, the recognition of, the hard work that I put in. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it means a lot. Definitely when you're finished playing, like you're trying to, you need that resume. You're trying to get overseas, you're trying to be a pro, you need that resume. So it definitely means a lot in that aspect. But it just means a lot in the recognition, but it's great, as a team. A lot of the thing with us, we was a great team. So without my team, I wouldn't have done it. Without my coaches, I wouldn't have done it. So it was a great thing. From, sophomore year getting first team to the next year getting Player of the Year, All-American, and first team again. It's just like the hard work that I'm putting in is paying off. And it just made a bigger target on your back. It depends on your personality, how you take it. Their scouting report is always about you. Players is always trying to, talk trash to you, get you out your game. It helped build my mental strength too. I had to be ready every game. I couldn't take a game off after that. If I wasn't ready, then I was getting exposed because they were ready for me.
And like you said earlier, and like you said earlier, from sorry to cut you off, but like you said earlier, from when you're in Maryland, being from where you're from, you had to bring it every single night regardless. So even back from your childhood and back from when you were growing up, I guess that prepared you for where you are now, or where you were then.
But funny story about that, it was like after my sophomore year, I was going to transfer. I was about to transfer after my sophomore year. A lot of people don't know because it was under the ropes, it was under wraps because now I got to watch what I'm saying, but it was. I went home. I went home that summer. I actually stayed at AD that summer just to work on my game. Rich stayed up there. I went home, played in a couple pro-am games. Some coaches seen me play, so I started getting interest again. From this time, from high majors. So I was, NC State, San Diego State, Creighton. Those were the top three at the time, and those were ones I was really interested. But then after that, when schools like that calling, then you get calls from all different types of schools. St. Joe's, whole bunch of Atlantic schools, CAA schools, but the top three at the time was NC State, Creighton, and San Diego State. So I was, the development was there. They seen it. I got better. So the Division Ones came back in. Then, I had a little thing with my coach, Coach Jim and all that. And I signed back already. He wasn't trying to release me and let me go. Certain things was going on in my life at the time. And it was like, just go back to school. There was no point of fighting it, sitting out to try to, get to that level, So, but I was ready to leave again. I was about to transfer. So if you think about it, if it was in this era, with the transfer portal, I'd been gone. I wouldn't have finished at the AB. Yeah. So,
gone.
So it was definitely, it was unique, but it was good to get that recognition. You know, out my hard work, and then I was so Division I minded at the time, and just to see those calls from those coaches that they really wanted me, it was my self-esteem. It was a self-esteem booster. I loved it.
No, for sure. And honestly, you know, one thing that you kind of touched on, even still, if you went Division I, you know, shit, there could have been so many, you know, I want to say there would be more opportunities, but even now, if you're playing today's era, bro, you'd be getting $1 million for sure. You'd definitely be getting a contract. You'd be getting paid for sure. Because like I mentioned before, man, you had some real game to you, you know. But obviously, prior to your senior year, you're at the top of the mountain, you know, 1,000 point club, GMAC Player of the Year, first team All Conference, not once, but twice. But you added 2 GMAC tournament titles to your resume as well. That had to mean something to you.
Oh yeah, man, that was great because that's all we wanted at AB. All we wanted to do was win. There wasn't nothing else to do there. There's 800 students, so we was in the gym and we was practicing all day. If we was not good in basketball, man, I don't know. We probably have been depressed at that. So it felt great. And you know, our coach was a championship coach. He had 14 championships in 17 years. So that was him, and it felt great to be able to keep his status as a championship coach. Because that's all he always preached, man. He always preached, my old guys did this, my old guys did that. And it was finally good to shut him up. And he's like, yo, we got the ring. And we got a ring ourselves. So you know what I mean? So it was great. It was great to be a winner. And you can't beat that. Those memories I'll never lose, especially with those guys that was on our team. Memories that's always going to be there.
No, I got a story actually for you guys real quick, and I actually remembered it right now. So one night, you know, obviously, as you mentioned, there were only about 800 students at AB, and, you know, the party city over there wasn't really, you know, not really much partying. It was more so just partying throughout the dorms, you know. Maybe we'd go off campus a little bit. Not really with me. I remember going off with Tobias a couple of times, but that was really about it. One night, you know, with the boys and everything, we're all just drinking, and I probably, you know, 10, 12, 13 beers in, whatever. I looked at my time, I looked at my clock, and it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I walked by the gym. I was about to go check a shorty, actually, which is a girl with what we say here in Toronto. I'm about to go see a girl. The gym door is wide open. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me go put some shots up. I swear to God, Malcolm and Chris, I was in there for about 2 hours drunk on the machine, shooting till about 2 o'clock in the morning. The security guard, you remember that security guard, right? The little ass white security guard. Yeah. He walks in, he's like, yo, you know, you can't be here, right? I'm like, listen, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm drunk as shit right now, but I'm trying to get some shots up because they're gonna keep talking this shit all the time. Him and Duncan always just talk this shit. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. So at 2:30 in the morning, I took a picture of how many shots I put up, and I put up 1,500 shots. And I think I made like, I actually have it still on my phone. I think I made like 1,000 or some shit like that. But you know, the gun always never really gave a proper accuracy. The gun, so whatever. So I texted it to him. And I texted him at 2:30 in the morning as well, specifically because I wanted him to know like what I was doing. You know, Zimmer likes to sleep. Coach Zim likes to sleep. He messaged me back the morning. He said, if you ever fucking text me again at 2:30 in the morning, we're gonna have some problems.
Yo, what you do?
Hey man, Zim is hilarious, bro. He's a straight shooter. He's a great dude, but he is a straight shooter. He does not play.
He does not play.
He's very old school. Very old school.
There's 2 things you don't do with him. You don't wake him up, and you don't talk, and you don't lose. You don't wake him up, and you don't lose. But obviously, you know, I got one last question for you, and then we're gonna get into your pro career. Going into your senior year, though, you know, you're obviously thinking 3-peat and national title. But that unfortunately wasn't the case. You got hurt, as you mentioned earlier, by being chased down and dunking on somebody. Talk to us about the psychological damage that it took on your mind and not just your body.
Man, that was a tough time for me. It took me a long time to bounce back. But you know, that's my senior year in general was just a lot. Yeah, we all had intentions to, you know, try to 3-peat. But preseason, man, it was a lot going on. Like you said, we don't really step out. But then one time we stepped out, we went to Morgantown, WVU, got in a big brawl out there. And it didn't go well. He came back. Police got involved. He kicked some kids out of school. So our senior year, we had 5 kids in scholarship, bro. We only had 5 full scholarship kids. So we had to, you know, deal the hand that we dealt. So my responsibilities took a lot more. I had to do a lot more. And I think it just caught up to me, my body. And like you said, I was a starter for 4 years, and Zim was a believer. 40 minutes a game. I averaged 39.2 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
I did not come out. And teams caught on to that they just picked me up full court to try to wear me out. And then, our practices with them too, he didn't play 2.5 hours. We in there. 2.5, 3 hours. We in that joint. And it's full competition, full go all the time. My coaches are strictly on competition. You had to push each other. So I think at the time, my body was done. My body wore out, caught up to me. And then I got hurt. And at the time, my interest was picking up, man. I had some G League teams calling. I had G League teams coming. At the time, it was just new. It was G League was new. They came to see me playing Gannon. So I remember Zim's wife had told me. They was like, there was some coaches asking about you in the stands. They started calling, and I tore it, and it was done. All those calls stopped. So mentally, I was like, man, I busted my ass to get here, and now it seems like everything's about to get taken away from me. So, man, I was through. But I tried to be there for the team. I was every practice, every game I went on road trip, Coach Zim let me come. And I was hitting the rehab hard, which I probably, made a mistake. I should have got the surgery right away. But I was such a team-minded guy, man. I was like, the coach, the guy was like, man, if you, work hard, you might not have to get the surgery, try to come back playing by the conference tournament. So I did all that, came back, and I couldn't do nothing, man. My kneecap felt like it was on the side of my knee. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. So I tried, and it just didn't work out. The season didn't go well. We did what we could do best, because when I went out, they only had 4 scholarship players at the time. So we tried to do what we could do, and it didn't work out well. And for some of us, our seniors, it was a sigh of relief. We was tired, bro. We was done. If you think about it, 3-4 years straight of playing 30-something games and making it a championship each year and doing, through Zim's teams and how he, his management with us, we was burnt out. So mentally, I was done. I thought my basketball career was over. I didn't think I was gonna get another shot. But luckily, agents still reached out to me, and I got an opportunity. I came home, got the surgery that year, and I came back to AB that year to coach and rehab, and that's where I met you at. Yes, so I was there rehabbing, and by the end of the school year, I got my chance and left, went overseas, and ain't looked back. And then went to play 3.5 years.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. And when I used to see you work, what the work you used to put in, you used to be in the weight room with us, saying you'd be working out with us, lifting, everything like that. On top of that, if it wasn't just lifting, you'd be on the treadmill running for about 30 minutes. I remember seeing you in a full-blown sweat, but by the time we get in there, you're doing 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after, lifting in between. I'm like, this guy is crazy. I always ask about you. Yo, this guy nice, this guy Hooper. Yo, he's tough. So I used to always hear all those things about you, man. I'm glad you still had an opportunity to play, post injury and everything like that. So, Chris, what you got for us, man?
All right. So, I'm glad you mentioned that. Post injury continued. So, post injury, you continue playing, and you played Spain, El Salvador, and Brazil. Talk to us about how they came about.
My first was El Salvador, and I got that through Tobias. That wasn't even through my agent. I had signed with an agent and all that, and it was some miscommunication. I had a deal to go to Spain right out of it, but I was still rehabbing my knee, and I wasn't ready, so I didn't go. And Tobias got the opportunity to go to El Salvador, and he reached out to me and said they actually sent their point guard home, and he was like, "Man, you want to come?" And I got my brace off. I was starting to practice with him. I was playing again, and I'm like, "Shit, this is my shot. I gotta take it." And I went, and it was a culture shock, man. El Salvador, man. Luckily I was one of the biggest cities, so it wasn't too bad. Down there they got, the MS-13 game. We weren't allowed to go any places without somebody. We had to be supervised. We had a driver. He took us everywhere. So most of the time we was in the house or we walked up the street, but that was it. But the slums out there, you go to certain teams had money, certain teams didn't. So that was a real culture shock. And it was nice. I made some good money, and I got back in the flow of playing again. I went down there and played well. Played really well. I was damn near triple-double guy out there. I was hooping. So that led to my next offer in Spain. And my agent sent all that stuff out. I got the offer in Spain and went. No, Brazil. I did the rest of the half. After I left El Salvador, I came home. My sister got sick, and I did a little stint in Brazil, finish out the season. which was really well. But then I got the offer in Spain, which I kind of regret. I probably should have just went back to Brazil. They offered me, they was paying more money, but I took the advice from my agent. This is a good way to climb. Spain has good money to pay. Went out to Spain. I was playing well. My team wasn't doing well though. We were still trying to figure it out. I was more so with a vet team, a lot of older guys, and the imports, me and the other two, we were the youngest guys on the team. So we had to, take up a lot and do a lot more, and we weren't winning, so it wasn't really good. But I got sick, so another fucking another downfall. I got sick and ended up getting diagnosed with a condition that I still have to this day. Eating the food over there and all that stuff. So I came home and finally got all that stuff. But then by the time I was trying to go back, they signed somebody else. That overseas, like, man, it's cutthroat. Yeah. You got to produce or you got to be there. You're not there or you're not producing. You're gonna find somebody else that will. So
especially as an international though.
Yeah, exactly. So I sat out the rest of that year, and I got my numbers was good. I was averaging 25 and 6. I was doing well. So the agent at the time came back, and there was another advancement up to the next league, but it was the same pay. And I'm like, come on, like, I'm telling my agent, like, man, you give me an extra 100, 200, like, come on, man, like, it's my third year now. I need to make a jump. And at the time, it was only teams in Spain. He wasn't selling me nowhere else. So I got a little cocky, which I probably should have just went and didn't take it. And I went back to AD and just worked out and did things like that. And, trying to wait for something better. And, it never really came in. At the time, the economy over there was bad, so I was getting lowballed, man. And it's so bad that a lot of these players is taking that, man. I got an offer in Portugal for $250 a month. I'm like, man, what the hell is that? I was just making $1,200 a month. So then I got another offer, France, $350 a month, and this is the bottom league. And I'm like, I'm taking a step back now, like. So I was at the point where I was going to take the offer. I was going to go to France, but then I found out I was having a kid. That was a low league, so they didn't have the money to fly me back for the birth or to even bring them out there. So I was at the point where I was like, well, it's time to find something different to do. My son made me steer my mind, and it's like, well, I got to find a way to make a living over here, so let's do it. I got the opportunity to be a GA at Slippery Rock, and got a free master's and a great learning experience coaching. So it played out how it was supposed to play out,
There you go.
I think that's real talk. We talk about, Stephen, these are like real stories. Like, this is like a real talk. So when I hear someone, when someone talks to history and talks about this stuff, it means a lot to me, because kids need to hear this more often. We talk about this all the time. I'm gonna go back still over to the international thing, because it's nice. Like, you played in some very beautiful countries, beautiful women out there. Like, the food, the food's different. The food's really good. Like, you being international, how do they treat you? Like,
they treat you like celebrities over there, man. They love Americans. They see American and they just get shocked, man. They just like they never seen one before. And then you're in your city. That's over there in your city. That's your club team. That's like their NBA team. Even if it's your ACB team, or if it's your Lib Silver team or your EVA team, they still all part of the same club, and they treat you like superstars. You walking around, your posters up, you hear your name, Tatum. They see you. So it's love. You really get treated like a celebrity over there. It's all love. The language barrier stuff, I don't speak lick Spanish. I was picking it up a little bit. I comprehended it a lot better, but I couldn't speak it, so everything was translated. She'll say, you go out to the club, a girl say something, you got to pull out your phone real quick and give it to her.
Google Translator.
Yeah, translate what you're trying to say. Well, I can give it to them. So, that language barrier was tough, but it's all love. It's all love.
Okay. Well, being away from your family, not speaking the language, as you just said, you have mom, you're missing our mom's home cooking, and you're going to be able to see friends. We talked earlier about like the mental health and you getting hurt. But what about the psychological, points of not living in a different country? Like, I know you got taught, they treat you like a celebrity, which is good. Like, yes, a lot of people don't get that vibe, but you're still in a different country. You're still, missing what you're used to. How's that? Can you speak a little more on that?
Man, that's tough. like you said, mental health part is tough. Like you can really go into a depression over there. It feels like you're doing a bid for jail when you're over that joint. You're gone 9 months out the year, and you come back. So most of the time, like you said, the language barrier and all that, and you're working out, you're in the house, and you gotta find things to do. A lot of TV channels, all that stuff different over there. So you're not watching much TV. You got 8-9 hour difference. So you waking up, they come to sleep over here. You're not interacting as much. And then the social media aspect, bro, that could ruin you. You get on social media, your friend, everything's gassed up and hyped up on there.
It's so true.
You in the house chilling overseas, and you see your friend in a section with a whole bunch of Jones. You're like, God, I'm trying to get home. Like I'm here and I'm bored. I'm not doing nothing. Man, you start thinking crazy. Like, man, this overseas life, man, it's cracked up as what it used to be. Like what you think it is. So that overseas life ain't for everybody. You gotta love the game to go over there. Now, granted, I was in a different league. I wasn't making as much as other people. You got those guys that's making 6 figures. That's just nothing. They making good money. And so it's easier to deal with it when you see that check hit once a month. You like, cool, shit. I just made $100K. I'm good. I can go back to chilling. But when you making what some people make $500,000, you like, God damn, bro, I'm missing out on home, fun and partying. But then when you come home, you really realize it ain't what it's cracked up. You know what I'm saying? It's not really what it is. It's gassed up on social media. So the mental health, man, you can really go into a depression over this. You really gotta love the game. You gotta love it. You gotta find things to do. You gotta stay in the gym. You gotta, meet people, interact, have them take you out, show you places. But then you also gotta be aware that it is not your country. You can really get in trouble over there. I've seen people get in trouble and can't get back home. Or the incident that just happened. A guy from DC is over there in Cyprus and he got beat up or something like that. Yeah. It's dangerous at the same time, depending on where you are. And then in some places it's love. Some places got beaches and girls that speak English, like Australia. You go to Australia and have a great time. Tobias ain't came home yet. You know what I'm saying? People go to Australia and stay. So it really just depends on where you at.
Yeah, but we know that we all know that Tobias likes his white women out there. You know what I'm saying?
No comment on that. No comment.
Blast. Got the man on blast.
Hey, mental health is tough, man. You gotta be mentally strong to be over there 9 months out the year. It's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not what a lot of people make it seem what it is,
Okay.
Last question we want to ask you, then we're gonna get to our quick hitters. Any regrets while you played overseas?
Man, I regret leaving El Salvador a little bit earlier. I wish I could have stayed there a little bit longer. I regret not taking that advancement up for the same pay after my year in Spain. I should have went back. I regret that. And I regret not taking things into my own hand. I put too much trust in other people, like my agents and listening to people. I didn't have much guidance. Like I said, I didn't really know much. I had my cousin at the time who was playing in the Euro Cup who tried to help me, but he was still learning. He was only 1-2 years in. So I didn't have much guidance in how to, handle myself or how to handle things over there. So I do wish I even wish that I made the change in agents sooner. I had a couple of agents reach out that had some offers for me, and I wish I made, I jumped. I was too loyal to an extent. When you get to that point, it's a business. And you got to treat it like a business.
Fair enough. And obviously, we're about to get into some quick hitters right now. First thing that comes to your mind, whatever you think about. If you could coach anywhere in the world right now, where would it be?
Coach. Ooh, I'm always been a Syracuse fan, man. I had to go there. I love Syracuse. I'm biased. But if I could be under somebody, probably like Bob Hudson, the way he gets guys to play, I would love to learn under him.
All right. I got another one for you. If you had the opportunity to work with an NBA player, who would that be?
If I could work with an NBA player?
Who would it be?
Shit. I wouldn't even say working with him, but I would love to just be around and watch Melo and Kevin Durant work out. I can pick their brains and just see their footwork naturally that I can actually put into what I want to implement with some of the kids I work with. If I could be around that shit, hell yeah, that'd be love.
That's real.
That's 2 BMO legends right there. No cap.
Yeah, you know how to throw Melo in there. Melo, that's the guy right there. That's the guy for sure.
U+4 at Rucker Park. Who are you taking with you?
Me plus 4, man. I'm going with my guys. You know, Greg Whittinson, Stan Kidd, them two. Got them on the wing for sure. If I had to take, well, they got to be dudes I know personally, or
Any 4, you plus any 4.
Matter of fact, I'm just go with dudes I know. I'm gonna go with dudes I know. Greg,
You gotta put Ando in there, man.
I'm gonna go with Big Henry, and my guy Chase Adams. Those are all dudes I know personally and I grew up with.
You're putting Chase over Ando though. No one can guard Ando with the post.
Henry 7 foot.
Yeah, but Ando's 7.
Henry 7 foot. Played at Georgetown. Played for the Sixers. I'm going with him. Big Hank. Nothing against Ando. Big Hank gonna get it done. Big Hank getting it done. And my guy Chase, he breaking down everybody. Chase, he one of the best ISO players I've ever seen. So yeah, I'm definitely in. Greg, 6'9", my cousin 6'7" on the wing, both can shoot and got skills. Man, I'm taking that 5 for anybody. I don't care who they put out.
He's a real loyal guy.
Yeah, bro. I'll take that 5 in Baltimore. We go to New York City, Vegas, Cali. I'm taking that 5, and we gonna compete. We gonna bump. I'm telling you, we gonna bump.
Love that.
I like that. Another good one for you. If someone did a movie on your life, which actor would play you?
A movie, bro.
Yeah, who's the best playing you?
Who would be the best playing me? Shit, I don't know, man. I'm different. I'm a different nigga.
He's like, listen, give me my sackcloth. I'll do it myself.
I don't know, because it gotta be somebody that can hoop, man. I don't know too many that can hoop. That can really be, do what I can do.
Actors, they gotta act it out.
Not a lot of actors can hoop, bro. A lot of actors can hoop. They can fake like they can hoop, but not a lot of actors can, man. But shit, if I could pick, bro, that little dude that's in Power, he did a good job on that basketball movie he had on.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But for sure, probably him. I fuck with y'all. He decent.
Yeah. Are you talking about Common?
Nah, the young dude from Power, the son.
The one to play Tariq.
Yeah, Tariq. Yeah, him.
Okay.
That's a realistic character.
He had a Netflix movie too. Like he had some Netflix movie as well. Like he had some. Yeah,
that's something realistic. I can say that's realistic. But if I go with somebody that's hot right now, that's probably buzzing, like a Michael B. Jordan or somebody. I'm like,
you don't want to get
Hey, last quick here we got for you before we end off the show. But who would you like to see on Talk Your Exposure? But here's the kicker, though. You have to help us with your answer.
Damn. Shit. Y'all already had his on here. Somebody from my area for sure. If y'all can get somebody on here, like who I was saying earlier, my cousin Stan, he's very articulate. Yeah, his journey is crazy. From being really unknown in Baltimore City through that era where everybody was hot to now being top 3 coming out of the city. Mm-hmm. So he would be very good. His journey from JUCO to HBCU to Colorado State. Or even my guy Greg Whittinson. His story is very, very interesting. Not having much buzz at all till his senior year, and he got off. He didn't have one scholarship offer to his senior year, and the first one was Georgetown in Texas.
Damn.
And then didn't have one, and then that's his first couple of offers, and then go to Georgetown. Had the opportunity. If he'd have came out that year with Otto Porter, he'd have been a top 10 pick, and then, did some things in school and then transferred and went G League and pro. So his story is crazy too. Those two. Now I definitely can help get them on.
And we appreciate that, man. We appreciate that. Hey, Malcolm, before we end off this show, though, who's somebody you want to give a shout out to, man? Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to my guy Fats, my man, my road dog. He's been there every step of the way, and my man Rich. So like I said, he has been my right hand when we was at AB together. So he's been through the journey. He's seen it. He knows from the schools that was calling. I missed we went to go see 22 Jump Street, whatever it was called. I missed the whole movie. I was on the phone with the Creighton coach, the whole movie. So he's been there every step of the way. And, of course, my son, Kingston Jamal Tatum. Remember that name? Kingston Jamal Tatum. He's going to be up.
That's gonna be another Tatum in the NBA who's gonna be hooping, getting 60 balls. You feel me?
Yeah, he does.
Hey, Malcolm, where can we find you on social media, man?
I just got back on Instagram, bro. I had deleted my IG for a minute, but shit. What the hell is my Instagram, man? That's how long I'm barely on it. I'm not on social media much, man, but Instagram is m.tatum_. Other than that, I'm not really on. I'm on Facebook. I'm an old head. I got an old soul. I'll be on Facebook.
I like that. You said from the music alone, like you said, you
Yeah.
got the
I got an old soul, but that's about it. That's the only thing I'm really on.
Say no more. Say no more. Malcolm, man, obviously it was great to be able to reconnect with you again, man. It's been, like you said, it's been a minute. Obviously, I've been able to see you through social media. I've been able to see your progress and just becoming a father, coach, saying what you've been able to do as a basketball player as well. From where you were 6 years ago when I first met you to where you are right now, man, it's great to see how you develop and how you mature and how you become just a better overall human being. And you've always been a stand-up dude. To be able to see where you are right now and to be able to see you successful, man, I hope you're nothing but success. And I pray for your child's success, and I pray for your whole family's success moving forward as well. So again, Malcolm, we appreciate you for your time, man, and we hope to be able to connect with you again down the line.
All right, man. I appreciate you having me on here, man, for sure, man. It was definitely good talking and seeing you again, bro. It's definitely been a minute, man. You gotta stay in touch.